Well, the technical body of the Black Stars have announced their squad for the World Cup. 26 players were being named to make it to Qatar this year. Now, the names didn't surprise many, just some notable omissions that were within the Black Stars unit. As we know, Ghana have been struggling with goalkeeping issues dating back to 2 weeks ago. The original Black Stars number one in previous years was Richard Ofori. Richard Ofori has been struggling with injuries for a very long time. And on the brink, that is the last week before the World Cup squad was being named, he picked up an injury for Orlando Pirates in South Africa. Also, Jojo Wolacott had a poke on his finger and he was announced by his club, Charleston Athletic, to be missing out on the World Cup as well. So, two starters or two key goalkeepers for the Black Stars have been named out of the Black Stars, which is a big blow for the Black Stars ahead of the World Cup. But also, the other substantive replacement in Lawrence Adizigi, who is also been with the Black Stars for some number of years now. Then there is Manaf Nuruddin, who has also been with the Black Stars for some number of years now, as well as the new boy in town, Danlad Ibrahim. Danlad Ibrahim was contracted to be part of the Black Stars for the very first time when Ghana played against Nigeria. He was a part of the team in the second leg against Nigeria, receiving a late call up into the Black Stars. Now look at Danlad Ibrahim. He has gone through the ranks of Ghana football, played at under 17 level, played at under 20 level, then under 23 level, and eventually, finally, he has the opportunity of playing for the Black Stars at the World Cup. So Danlad Ibrahim, Lawrence Atizigi, and Manaf Nuruddin have made it to the Ghana's final list for the World Cup due to injuries that happened to the first two choices for Otuado, who is the head coach of the Black Stars. Now, in defense, Ghana have named Mohamed Salisu in defense, there is Daniel Amate in defense, there is Alexander Jiku in defense, there is Ali Duseidu in defense. At the wing back row will be where Dennis Odoi, who is a veteran player at 34, being the player who will debut the World Cup as one of the oldest players from Ghana, or even better, the oldest player from Ghana to debut the World Cup at age 34. He was included as part of Otuado's team for the World Cup. Also, Brighton and Hove Albion star Tariq Lamptey made a final push and he's part of the team for the World Cup. At left back or wing back, the left wing back row is Gideon Mensah, who is playing in the French league at the moment. Also, veteran, part of the Black Stars for a very long time. Baba Rahman, the former Chelsea star, also makes the final cut for the Black Stars. In midfield, where Ghana are blessed with a plethora of stars, as where Thomas Partey will be looking to make his World Cup debut for Ghana. Also, Salis Abdul Samed, who plays for RC Lens in the French League, is also part of the team for the World Cup. Mohamed Kudus, the star, the sensation of the Black Stars, the man who is expected to produce magic for the Black Stars at the World Cup, also makes it, as well as Captain Andre Ayew also being part of the team. As a matter of fact, Andre Ayew is one of the first players to be part of the team when they traveled to Qatar. He joined the team ahead of all the other players, even before the squad was announced. Andre debuted the World Cup after winning the Under-20 World Cup with the Black Satellite. Also made his debut at the World Cup in 2010. In 2014, he participated with the Black Stars, and in 2018, he's expected to make history with the Black Stars. Iñaki Williams is part of the Black Stars squad as named by Otuado. Well, he switched allegiance to play for the Black Stars after talks with the Ghana Football Association. His brother, however, is not a part of the Black Stars team as he's representing Spain for the World Cup this year. Nico Williams. Also, Antoine Semenyo, who switched allegiance to play for the Black Stars, is part of the Black Stars team as the main focal point in the Black Stars attack, as well as Jordan Ayew, who plays for Crystal Palace. When you look at the Black Stars team, Jordan Ayew is one of the players that gives you a lot of game time at his club side, playing in various roles within the setup that they play in. So basically, this is a Black Stars squad as named by Otuado. Now, the Black Stars are expected to line up in different variations. Now, if you followed Ghana football for long, you know that Otuado has experimented a 3-back system. He's played with a 4-back system, all against Nigeria in subsequent games or the preseason games. That is the friendly games that the Black Stars have played in. So it's really interesting from the Ghanaian perspective how Ghana is going to set up from the World Cup. Also, Ghanaians are very expectant of the Black Stars to do well in Qatar. We feel we have everything we need to be able to perform at the World Cup, notwithstanding the injury crisis that has hit the goalkeeping department. But still, Ghanaians feel with the current squad, with Mohamed Kudus, with Thomas Partey, with Mohamed Salisu in defense, with Iñaki up front, Ghana can do well. So we are expecting the Black Stars to do well in the World Cup in Qatar. We know we are playing Portugal, we know we are playing Uruguay, which is a game, basically a game of vengeance. And also we are playing against South Korea, which in the minds of every Ghanaian, Ghana feel they can strongly beat the South Koreans to be able to qualify to the next round. So every Ghanaian is highly expectant of the Black Stars qualifying to the next round of the World Cup. Now, the technical unit of the Black Stars have announced their 26-man squad for the World Cup in Qatar. Now, Ghana are scheduled to play Portugal, South Korea, and also Uruguay in a game many have felt it is a vengeance game for the Black Stars. Now, Otuado, who is the head coach and the leading man for the technical unit of the Black Stars, named his squad for the World Cup. Now, this is the squad, and this is the issues with the squad. I'll give you every detail that you need to know. Now, the Black Stars squad goalkeeping department. Jojo Wollacott, who kept in post for the Black Stars at the African Cup of Nations, misses out on the World Cup. His compatriot, Richard Ofori, who kept in post for the Black Stars in previous AFCON editions, also out of the World Cup. Now, this is the issue. Both keepers, just before the World Cup, picked up injuries for their respective clubs and are being ruled out of the World Cup. Basic. Now, it's really sad for the Black Stars because they were highly dependent on Jojo Wollacott and Richard Ofori. Jojo came into the Black Stars team under Milovan Rajevac, who gave him his very first call-up into the Black Stars team. Now he's out. So the goalkeeping department, which starts from Danlad Ibrahim, who joins the Black Stars unit for the very first time, even though he has had strides with the Black Stars, but this is his very first World Cup. And also, Atizigi, who has been a long-serving member of the Black Stars, keeps his place and he heads to Qatar with the Black Stars. Now, Manaf Nuruddin, who has lost his place at club level, returns to the Black Stars unit to be the part of the goalkeeping department. Now, basically, this is how I'm expecting the Black Stars to set up with a feedback system, because I've seen that the kind and variables of players that the Black Stars have in the team will allow the Black Stars to play with more of a feedback system. Now, as I'm naming the team, I'll name them in shapes so that you will know which role each player will play and how Otuado can vary a system to be able to win against teams in the World Cup. Salisu has been dominant for Southampton in this particular role as either the left centre back or even better as part of the 4-back unit, where he is basically the left CB in there. So it's either he plays as a left centre back in a 3-back system or a 3-back style, or as part of the 4-back where he still plays as the LCB. Left-footed, very sought after. Left-footed in this era are very sought after. So basically, you have a man who is one of the very best in the Premier League as a left-footed player. He brings a lot of qualities when it comes to ball playing, when it comes to tackles, and when it comes to technical abilities on the pitch. Now, one player I'm expecting is Alexander Jiku. Jiku has been a mainstay in the Black Stars, partnering Daniel Amati in the 4-back system. But the inclusion of, again, Mohamed Salisu will push the team to play more of a 3-back style, as seen versus Brazil in the second half of the World Cup friendlies. So I have Mohamed Salisu. Also, I have Alexander Jiku. I have Daniel Amati. Now, all these players have replacements. Now, Joseph Aidu can play any part of this role as part of the centre-back unit. Also, Alidu Seidu can play as the right CB, which he plays predominantly for his club side. Now, Jiku can play any part of the feedback because at Strasbourg, he is given the free role and he has the opportunity of playing varieties of roles in that particular system. Now, I pick him as a middleman or as the sweeper in the feedback system because Well, he has that ball playing abilities that is very exhibitant of modern day centre backs. Now, Jiku is a key player that will play a key part of the Black Stars unit. Now, at wing back is where a lot of options are for the Black Stars at the moment. Now you have as right wing back, you can have Tariq Lamptey, who almost always plays as a right wing back, under Graham Potter for Brighton and Hove Albion. Even under De Zerbi at Brighton, he still find himself playing in a four back where he's still at that particular role. Even at Chelsea, where he was at academy level, he played in that role. So he brings a lot of technical abilities to his game. His crossing ability is excellent. He has the energy, he can dribble past a man and create openings for the Black Stars, and he has that penetrative run when he is in the opposition box, which is really good for a wing back. Now another player that can play in the wing back role for the Black Stars is Denis Odoi, the veteran Black Stars player. At 34 years of age, he will be the oldest player to debut the World Cup for Ghana at that particular age, 34 years old. Really, really impressive of him to keep this form and shape for Ghana Black Stars. Now, another wing back role which will be competitive is the left wing back role. Now, Baba Rahman has been the long-serving member when it comes to the left back role for the Black Stars. Now, he's been competed by Gideon Mensah, who is showing huge strides for the Black Stars in that particular role. Many have tipped Gideon Mensah to fulfill that particular role. Well, all depend on Otuado, but this role would have a lot of, surging runs, defending deep, especially because of the kind of opponents Ghana is facing at the World Cup. Now, let's go to the role that many feel Ghana is blessed with a lot of talent. Now, the midfield. Now, Partey is the man everyone will be turning to when it comes to the midfield role. Partey plays as part of a double pivot for Arsenal, even though you have Xhaka surging forward to free Partey so that Partey can make the distributions around and make penetrative passes so that his players can be receiving the ball. Also, another key thing about Thomas Partey's play is that he can make balls really, really simple for one-touch pass. He combines well with his players. He's in the right position at the right time, and he has a good recovery rate to help his team. But once we don't have Xhaka, why this team is not us now, then we have to look for solutions, because Ghana as a team would have to set up in a way not to concede goals, but also have an attacking return in the team. If it was left to me alone, the team will set up with two ball winners, two players who can make runs into the opposition box and create opportunities. That is, we will have Mohamed Kudus and Daniel Kofi partnering Thomas Partey. These two players have great technical abilities, with Kudus being flamboyant and also having that unique ability to dribble past opponents. But also Daniel Kofi has that technical abilities. But at the World Cup, it will be very tricky to see how the Black Stars will play anyway. But we are expecting the Black Stars to sit with a double pivot, where we are expecting Salis Abdul Samed, who plays for RC Lens in the French League, rated as the sixth best midfielder in the French League, according to L'Equipe. He is expected to, partner Thomas Partey when it comes to the World Cup. Then leaves the role in this shape. We have the three back, we have the wing backs here, and then also that man who is expected to make, all those dashing runs, dribble past opponents, and find, openings within the opposition. That is Mohamed Kudus. That is if the manager, because Mohamed Kudus, even for his club side, has played as part of or as a false nine for his team. So it will be very variant how we see the Black Stars. But Otuado has stressed that he will want to see Mohamed Kudus in this particular role. So we may be expecting or be seeing something of this sort. Now, away from Kudus, another man who is making huge strides for Athletic Bilbao, who switched allegiance to play for the Black Stars, is Inaki Williams. Now, Inaki is very key to how Ghana will play at the World Cup. Even at his club side, Bilbao, he is the man who either plays as a main focal point, or he's allowed or he's given freedom to roam about the pitch, playing as a right winger, or even as a left winger right here. So his versatility will really come to play when it comes to the World Cup, because once you are not having so much of attacking, exchanges or attacking sequence of passes, then you need someone who can hold the ball, someone who can be the target man. Also, his energy levels, his speed levels. Then you can ask Thomas Partey to float in balls when opponents are pressing you. Then you have, you know, Inaki making those runs, and then you have Partey, you know, dashing or, you know, banging in those sumptuous passes in between the opposition for him to receive. Another player I'm expecting to be at the World Cup or is at the World Cup and I'm expecting to start for the Black Stars is Antoine Semenyo. Even though Jordan Ayew and Dede Ayew may be ahead of him in the pecking order, I still feel Antoine Semenyo has every skill, every ability, devoid of the fact that he has been struck by injuries and he has not really gotten the opportunity to showcase his talent for the Black Stars, but his physical presence, his aerial ability, the ability to control the ball with his left and right foot, his shooting abilities is excellent. But also, we cannot stay away without mentioning the man who steps up on the big moment, Dede Ayew. Dede Ayew has been Ghana's most promising star when it comes to the big games. He's the man that steps up for the Black Stars in all those big moments. Now he's the captain of the side. So in the very first game where we are playing Portugal, you'll be expecting Dede Ayew to start in that particular one where it is the biggest of games for the Black Stars. So I'm expecting the Black Stars to be lining up in this form, but it will really vary depending on the materials because Otuado can choose to go for a 4-2-3-1 formation where you can have Inaki on the wing, you can have, you know, a host of players which will really tell how the team will shape up. But as it stands, I'm strongly thinking that the technical units are seriously considering a three-back system where you have a lot of players within the setup. Now, Ali Duseidu and all the other players that have made the Black Stars unit, one way or the other, fit into the system. Now, Ali Duseidu can play as part of the three-back system. Then in midfield, there's Elisha Owusu who can step in, even though I want Salis to be the main starter of the Black Stars. There is Kamal Sowa, who can play as part of the front two for the Black Stars, can play as a wing back, can play as a 10, who is also a really, really good creator. We look at his metrics, really, really brilliant for Club Brugge this season. Joint top scorer. He has the most joint assists in the Belgium Pro League this season with 4 assists already this season. This season also he scored 2 goals in the Champions League. He can come in and make really, really good strides for the Black side. But Jordan Ayew is another player that we really need to look at because Jordan Ayew has been one man who steps up on the big occasion for the Black Stars. So when you are looking for people to step up, it's Ayew brothers. They are the men who take the games upon themselves and then they step up. But the new crop of players are expected to bring something extra to the Black Stars team in order to charge the Black Stars up to beat the likes of Portugal, to beat the likes of Uruguay, to beat the likes of South Korea in this World Cup. So the attacking phase will see a lot of variations, but basically in post, I'm expecting if it's metrics wise, then Atizigi should start. But if it's the Black Stars unit or the Black Stars setup, then Manav Nuruddin, I'm expecting Amati to be here, Jiku here, Mohamed Salisu here, Gideon Mensah here, Salis Abdul Samed, Thomas Partey, then Kudus, then we have Inaki Williams and Andre Morgan Ayew starting up front for the Black Stars in as much as the games are free and the group games are free, and then a lot of decisions will come in. But basically, this is a lineup I'm expecting the Black Stars to line up in. And in every department, I feel we have replacement, double replacement for the Black Stars in this World Cup. So this has been my discussion for today. Keep watching Adwa TV because we bring you nothing but the best. Also, we'll be discussing everything you need to know before the World Cup. So this is the second edition or the second episode of our build up to the World Cup featuring the Black Stars. And today we have looked at how Yarampo for Junior, my name is. This is basically how I'm expecting the Black Stars to line up for the World Cup in Qatar this year.